Alright boys, I'm going to show this. And girls, remember, you mess this up, whatever, XP may not honor your warranty on this piece of equipment. That's the remote you're looking at. You're looking at the battery. The gentleman over there on Friendly Farm's got a problem with his battery. See the current rating on it, 700 milliamp hours? Okay, it looks like to me it's exactly what's in a coil, because I took this battery out of a Deus 2 coil. Now this battery was still performing, but this may have been in a coil. It was actually part of a test unit. You see that? That come out of a coil, and it's got this foam around it to fit in the coil. Newer ones have a plastic insert around them, and I put that back in my Deus 2 coil. Okay, and I've matched these up. Looks like the connector. Let me look here. Camera back on. So I've even got mine disconnected in there. See it? This battery right here would work in this remote right here. This is a do at your own risk. This is talked about somewhat in the user's manual. Alright. Now I'm going to put this up. These units are being sold out there and stuff. If you're going to use this unit and submerge it, the sharpshooter's recommendation is send this into a repair facility. XP repair facility, and let them work on it. Alright. Now, how do you get to where I'm at here? This is on with double-sided tape. Looks like it's in there. This gentleman with a problem. If you get your unit down this far, you need to look at that connector there. You may have dropped your remote. You may not really have a problem with it. It may have come disconnected. Okay? Now, I don't have a GoPro. So how do you do what I've done here? Alright? What you're going to notice is this thing slides up in here. Alright? You got to be careful putting it back up in there because it's slotted. And the speaker, I take the speaker out because it sits down on some terminals. Hang on just a minute. Alright, camera back on. Now I've slid this back up in here. I connected my battery back. Now remember, I've removed the speaker, bottom end cap. You're going to notice there's a screw right there. See that little hole right there? That screw is different than these two on the front. Don't get them mixed up. You'll need to look at the heads on these fasteners. They're unusual and they're small. Okay? So you take out that one, and that one, and you get the end cap off. As nicely rated as this machine is for water, ain't that awfully simple, boys? You see what you've got? You see that grease on that? Okay, you got to put this back on right. It'll help if I see where I've got this doodad, you know, to secure the remote to the stick. Well, that helps tug on that to get that end cap out. Now, you see that speaker there? See those two spring looking things on the back? They ride on them two terminals right there. So to pull this board out, there's pressure on this speaker when it's pushing down. You need to take that out, I guess. Look, I'm not a certified Deus 2 technician, okay? I used to supervise a micro miniature repair shop some years ago. There could even be an ESD discharge hazard here doing what I'm showing you. Do at your own risk. Now, this is the cover for the speaker. And this thing right here fits down under the groove right here. See that little indentation right there? Well, this thing right here fits in that. There's a little nubbin sticking out on that plastic there that little hole fits in. That's your speaker cover. It goes back as such. It's pretty simple there. If you have zero mechanical abilities, do not do this. Absolutely. Zero mechanical abilities, send this to the service center. Alright. The battery that I received from Big Boy Hobbies was for a coil. It would probably work in this. However, this is on double-sided tape. You don't get double-sided tape with that coil battery that he sent me that's loaded on his site, by the way. So I don't know what XP would send with a designated, remote battery. A remote controller battery. Could I reuse the tape that's in this? I don't know. These try to keep all the screws separate. I'm not 1000% sure that these screws are the same as those two right there. But those two right there are different than this one here on the back. I know that much for sure. Okay. Let me turn this camera off. Camera back on, if I can get it to focus. There it is. Alright. You don't pull this board out of this box because you've got that hooked up. Okay, but you can get it out far enough to unhook your battery and change your battery. So don't just snatch this thing out of there. You see how far I've got it out? That's far enough. Now, when you go to put this back in, it's slotted when it goes in there. It's not too hard to figure out. Just don't put pressure on it putting it up in there. I don't have a GoPro handy, or I would do this using my hands with a camera running, okay? You see the seal there. Alright. Again, if you're going to submerge this unit in water, you want to make sure your warranty's intact. Sharpshooter recommends you send this to the XP service facility for maintenance work. Now, once the unit's out of warranty, hey, you do your own thing, boys and girls. I could get killed maybe for even putting this video up. I don't think I will, but those screws are a certain shape. And they're like you'll see what I'm talking about. I believe they give you the actual what you need for a tool size-wise in the user's manual. You'll put this board back up in here. Okay, I'm not even sure I can do it and keep this camera running. It's slotted up in there. It'll only go one way. There it is, okay? You'll get this up in there before you put that speaker back in there. And you'll put that speaker cover back on there. The speaker cover has a seal. You see that? I've been out digging in the dirt. My fingers don't look too good. Sorry about that, okay? That speaker's got a seal on it. There's no grease noted on that seal on the speaker. Okay. So you get this back up in here all the way. You can even probably go ahead and put your end cap on. You put your battery in this thing, get it back up in there, and you might want to turn your unit on. Okay, you could charge this, putting the battery in. You could leave the end cap off in a good secure place. You could charge it. I'm not sure the battery, if they come with any charge or not. Make sure your unit works. You got a good connection. You see that old unit's coming on. It's been turned on and off a lot, boys. Alright, turning it off. Okay, torquing these screws. I don't know what they're supposed to be torqued to, but I wouldn't go too tight. Alright, see how that works. There's the little speaker. Now it goes in like so. You see those two springs there? You see them two terminals right there. That's what the speaker sits on. Alright. Put the screws back in it. Put the right screws in the right places. that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed. See how that thing there goes back on there? See that little dimple sticking out? So it's going to be oriented sort of where it'll screw right on your terminal there. You see that? Alright. I ain't got my speaker screw cover. They're not in, okay? It's on there though. And what I'm doing, you can hear my external speakers working, so I'm just checking as I put this thing together. Alright, put back together. I can have the, if I had a new battery for one of these, I could probably change it in 10 minutes. Easy. Knowing what I know. You see it still works. I'm going to turn it off since I did start with it disassembled. Somewhat at least. Bottom end cap only. That screw, that screw, that screw. Get that bottom end cap off. This screw's different than these two. The speaker puts tension on that board with 2 springs. It's sharpshooter's opinion. I'm not a Deus 2 certified technician. That speaker needs to come out of there to get that tension off of that board before you start easing it out the bottom to gain access to the battery. Alright. This is, again, do at your own risk. Disclaimer, Sharpshooter has not had his Deus 2 remote submerged. He's had this thing apart about 4 times. Doing what I showed in this video. I have not changed my battery. I may soon though. Run the piss out of this thing. It still works fine. I've not had this unit submerged since I did what I did here about 3 or 4 times. Okay, so I don't know if it'll leak or not. Didn't put any grease around this end cap either. Now I have had this thing out in the rain. Disclaimer, I've not had any problems. Alright, if I was going to hunt the saltwater beach, I'm going to throw this in here. Your unit will eventually come totally out of warranty. This is a good salt beach performance unit. What would the Sharpshooter do? Well, you could send it to the XP service facility and let them service it and change the battery. I probably, if I owned one of these machines and I was a real big time saltwater hunter, especially if I submerged my unit while using what I keep using this remote past the warranty expiration date and just keep using it and keep using it and keep using it. And I wanted to, planned on to keep it and use it. The answer is no. I would send this in. And if you send it in and you're a saltwater beach hunter, y'all get to find all that high dollar gold. Sharpshooter don't get to find much of that. So you can send this in for a battery replacement in the off season or whatever. Get your battery changed, and when they put this end cap back on here, they'll put the right grease and everything, look it over. You get it back, you'll be ready to rock and roll for quite a while longer. The same would apply if it's out of warranty. But if you decide to do this yourself out of warranty, I would be looking at these seals down here. You might decide to change them if you can. I haven't looked. I believe you can change them. Or change the end cap to a new one. Put you a new battery in it and rock and roll. These are expensive. Okay? Expensive. Like I said, this battery here came out of a Deus 2 coil. But it's got this foam stuff in it around it. And I can get that off of it. The new battery that Barter Big Boy Hobby sent me, it's got a plastic-like receptacle. And the battery seems to be glued in that. I don't know if I can get that off and use that particular battery he sent me. He only sent me one. I may order another one here soon. And try. Same connector, 700 milliamp. Not the same battery as what is in the headphones or the WS6, best I can tell, and I've not looked at them, but I believe the user's manual specifies the rating. Alright, but since I know the manual states the battery output level, milliamp voltage, milliamp current levels are the same between the call and this. See, I haven't never been able to look. I couldn't look at the battery Bart sent me because it was in that fixture and it was glued in, so I couldn't get to the side of it here. But now since I've been back in this remote and I can clearly see what that one is rated, and this is what came out of my 11-inch Deus 2 call. They appear to have the same current rating. So the battery that Big Boy has over there for the Deus 2 call, and it fits an X35 call too, is the same battery evidently. And I've put that battery in my 11-inch call and it pairs like a kitten. This gentleman with this problem, I recommend you call Bart at Big Boy Hobbies and let him maybe call the service center unless you want to do it. But if these batteries are different, Bart might want to get some. Again, that piece of equipment right there is fairly expensive. It's going to be XP's discretion if you mucky something up as to whether they'll honor it under their 5-year warranty. The batteries are not warranted for 5 years, by the way. But if you tear something up on this machine, or maybe they deem that you did, doing what I just did, you could be SOL. This is not an Academy Award-winning presentation style video that you'll see maybe some of these XP metal detectors YouTube channels, but I try to help, okay? This is going to conclude the video.